Welcome back, gang. I'm Zell, and today we've got something a little different. We have a Sanranmu, and I think I'm pronouncing that right, but I'm not sure. 710 or 7010, as I've seen it listed here recently. It's a pretty interesting little knife, and we'll talk a little more about that here in a minute. But first, why don't you come on in here and we'll get a good look at it. So let's take a look at the Sanranmu 710. We have an all stainless construction knife, stainless handles, and a 8CR13 MOV blade is what Sanranmu tells us, and the way it acts, I tend to believe them. We have torque screw construction and a lanyard hole. Now in our torque screw construction, we've only got 2 torque screws and the pivot. And on a lot of knives, that seems to cause issues with blade centering and action and whatnot, but it's not the case on this little one. And by the way, it's about 3 3/4 inch in length closed and about 0.34 inches thick with a height of exactly 1 inch. But whenever we go to open this thing, the action is just incredible for a knife that costs less than 15 bucks. And whenever we do get it open, we got an overall length of about 6.5 inches and a 2 3/4 inch blade with a 0.96 inch blade stock. As we look down the back of the knife, we can see we got jimping here, and it is meaningful jimping. It actually does its job fairly well. We have some nicely done thumb studs, machined out rather nicely. Here's a closer look at them. They're done pretty darn well for such a cheap knife. Same with the pillars inside the knife. Done very, very well for such an inexpensive knife. When we get to our blade, we've got a familiar drop point shape with a very high hollow grind that gets pretty darn thin behind the edge, making this a pretty good little cutter. And something I don't know if you can see terribly well, but the grinds are almost perfectly symmetrical, one side to the other. I went as far as doing some measuring, and they are pretty much perfect. That's something that I want to point out. We've got a $15 or less knife, has a great action, symmetrical blade grinds. And that's something many of our U.S. companies and even European companies can't pull off. Maybe they need to go over to wherever this knife is made in China and talk to those people, because they're doing a great job. This is a well put together knife. As far as ergonomics go, it's a small knife. If you get it in your hand, I've almost got a 4-finger grip on it. That little bit of jimping on the back of the blade does a pretty good job, but there's not really a thumb ramp there, so if you're used to Spyderco stuff, it's not going to feel like much. But the knife does what it needs to do without getting in your way or having a bunch of hot spots. And I think that you would find it pretty comfortable to use. Getting a look at it, it's a pretty attractive little knife. I'm not too much on the Panther jumping through the flames, but okay. For the price, I'm not going to complain. And this thing weighs 3.11 ounces. Alright, so what do you think? Sanranmu 710. Pretty darn well put together little knife. The blade steel on it seems to be what they say it is. Blade centering on the one I got was pretty much perfect. And I really don't have any complaints about the knife except for the tip down carry only. That is a major annoyance for me. May not be for you. Another issue is there are a lot of people out there that say that this is a clone of a more expensive knife, and it may be. However, I'm not really going to get into that. Whenever we're talking about a $10 knife that has its own brand name on it, even though it may be kind of a who knows brand name, and a $400+ knife, they don't even compete in the same league, let alone the same ballpark. So we're just going to leave that aside. The one issue, though, that I do want to talk about is Sanranmu gives you a 90-day warranty. And, you know, that's great. But where in the world are you going to send it to? I couldn't find any place. So, what do you do if you want to get one of these? Well, you have to treat it just like you're going to treat a Rat 2 or one of the bird knives. If you're going to buy one of these, you need to purchase it off of Amazon. You need to purchase it in store somewhere. I don't know where you do that in the United States, but maybe you can. But purchase it somewhere where returns are fairly easy, or you can see it in person before you put your money down, or be ready to lose $10 if you get a bad one. I say $10, they're up to $12, $13 now. So anyhow, guys, I appreciate you stopping by. It's been really cool to see you again. And be sure and hit me up on those social media links. And like, share, and subscribe down here. I would really greatly appreciate it. And you all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time.